Todd Hollenbach, our state treasurer candidate. Let's hear it for Todd.
Thank you all for having me. You all are central to our electoral efforts, and we can't do it without you. And I want to tell you, I'm a Democrat for a number of reasons. I'm a Democrat because I still believe government can offer solutions to the problems that working people face. It's not always the problem. It only becomes a problem when you send the wrong people to Frankfurt to represent you, and we're going to make sure that doesn't happen this time.
Right.
As a Democrat, empathy comes easily to me, as I'm sure it does to you all. I think working people have a natural tendency to feel other people's pain. And I've always considered myself a big-hearted guy. But you've got to be careful giving in to empathy and to your emotions, because our Republican friends will often play on that. Remember, Republicans can't win in this state unless they get working people, unless they get Democrats to vote for them. So you have to be on guard, and when you turn on the TV, sometimes it's easy to get sucked in. You all might remember the commercial that Ernie Fletcher ran back during the primary, where he had a little boy that looked like Harry Potter walk along through a schoolyard getting bullied, and the idea was to get you to feel sorry for this little kid who was supposed to represent Ernie Fletcher. And I got to admit, I kind of felt sorry for him. Now, I don't understand how it is that a little kid that won't stand up for himself, that won't fight for himself, is supposed to make Kentucky a better place, but I felt sorry for him. The latest commercial I've seen, you all might have seen this, is about a church lady named Norma. Now, Norma works in a city that has a casino up north, I think in Illinois. And Norma has never gambled before, but she, being a good church lady, starts taking this church group of elderly citizens to the nickel slots. Every week she drives them to the nickel slots. She ends up getting caught up in the whole gambling thing, and she ends up embezzling about $200,000 or so. She steals $200,000. Now, poor Norma, so the story goes, is somebody we're supposed to feel sorry for, and that's what's going to happen to Kentucky, of course, if Ernie Fletcher doesn't get reelected, so he'd have you believe. And I've got to admit, I felt sorry for Norma. Now, I didn't feel sorry for Norma for the reasons you might think. I think people should be held accountable for their decisions, even their bad decisions. I felt sorry for Norma because had she only the good sense to move across the border to Kentucky, surely this governor would have pardoned her. My father came back from the mountains the other day with a story that he heard while he was up there about the moonshine days. Back a little bit past Dr. Dan's territory. He said back when they were running moonshine, there were some federal agents in town, and they were trying to find this still. They knew the still was there, but they couldn't find it. They even knew who was operating it. Nobody'd tell them how to get to it. So finally they went to the nephew of this alleged moonshiner, and they said, son, we'll give you $40. $40 if you just tell us how to get to the still. Now, that was a lot of money back then. So he thought about it for a minute, and he said, okay. He said, I'll tell you. He said, you go about a mile down that way, you turn left when you come to a fork in the road. You go about another half mile, and behind a big outcropping on the right with a bunch of bushes, you'll find the still. And so the gentleman started to walk off, and the young man called to him. He said, mister, what about my $40? And the guys looked at the young man. They said, we'll give it to you when we get back. We're not stupid. And he looked at him, and he said, mister, you ain't coming back. I picked up the newspaper the other day, and I saw that Republican legislators and Republican counties are getting a much larger share of the state's highway dollars than Democrats are. And it occurred to me that the Republican fat cats funding Ernie Fletcher's campaign know what that young man knew, and that is that with people like this, he ain't coming back either. Ernie Fletcher's not going to be back. This election is about credibility as much as it is competence. It's about integrity as much as it is ideas, and it's about veracity as much as it is about vision. And with these two men, you get the whole package, and we thank you very much for everything you're doing. We can't do it without you. God bless you. Bring the Democrats home.
Yeah.